What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to this week's video. Special guest, former birthday boy. We are back. We are making a platform bed off of Bob from I Like to Make Stuff's king-size platform bed with storage underneath. We're going to be doing that. The first thing we got to do is cut some 2x4. How excited?
He's making it for himself. He's selfish. He doesn't think about others.
This was a $400 bed. Of course I'm going to be selfish. And we did a nice little life hack over here. I bought 3 sheets of radiata pine and made Home Depot do all of my cuts. He did a pretty good job. Shout out to Gordon, except for one of these boards, but we'll forgive him on this one, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start by cutting our bottom frames with 2x4s. So Christian's over there rocking it out on pocket holes, and now that I have all of our rungs cut, I'm going to start pocket holing these braces together. Alright, as you can see here, we are measuring at 10 1/16, and then this is at 9 7/8. So we obviously have to fix that because we will definitely notice that being off almost 1/4 inch. So I'm going to rip this 10 1/16 inch piece down to 9 7/8, and then we can start assembling our 2 cabinets. Kinda cold, eh, bud?
I'm so cold. I'm shivering.
So what we did for the back of the bookcase, essentially, that we're making, we got both of these widths to 9 7/8 now, and 80 inches long. So the next part we need to do is take our piece that is 22 1/4 inch wide and make 8 cuts at 10 inches, and these will make our dividers essentially for our bookcases. It is super cold, so you can see me when we're done. All right, bye. So here we are. We now have our 8 dividers, and again, we are using 3/4 inch radiata pine. So what we are going to do is map out essentially each divider on the back of these casings, and yeah, so then we'll be able to run some beads of glue and nail gun it into place. So let's get it done. We're freezing.
Can't feel my toes.
I'm pretty sure it's like 24 degrees. Let me check. 21 degrees. All right, let's get this done. Here we are, both carcasses are now complete and fully assembled. The next step, which I'm going to do, which is different than Bob's design, is that instead of having all of my horizontal slats secure into each side of the carcass with pocket holes, I'm actually going to take a 2x4 and just attach it to the inside of our carcasses here, and then I'm going to secure the horizontal slats straight down into that rail. So I'm just doing it for a little bit of an overbuild, but that's how we do it here. So nothing to it but to do it. So this is my roommate, John. John, say hi to the people. You just have to pretend they're there. It's weird. Anyways, it's okay. Only like 3 people watch my videos. Anyways, one of 3. So 2. So what I did is, you can see I've mapped out 1.5 inches in depth all right here for my rail, because when I put the slats in, since the 2x4 is 1.5 inches thick, it should lay flush with the top of our plywood here. and you know, it'll actually be flat when the bed's on there, which is kind of what you want. So the next thing that John's gonna do is he's actually gonna cut the slats for the top and then 4 slats for the bottom here, because you know how I do it, I overbuild things. And while he's doing that, I'm gonna get the other rail in place on this carcass. Alright, so now that we have everything ready to go, we have flipped these onto the bottom end, and we put our sticky pads here, so hopefully it's not gonna mar up the floor too bad. And now we have the fun job of bringing in those giant carcasses. Are you excited?
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
I'm not excited, so. Alright, see ya. Well, not really sure what the last clip was, but it's been 11 months since I managed to make this one drawer. How's it look, Blue? Still good? Smell good? Perfect. It's been 11 months since I made this one. I think now's a great time to, you know, make the other 5. So we're gonna go into the garage, find a bunch of my scrap wood, and try to figure out how much material I'm gonna actually need. Alright, so this is my scrap of wood that's big enough to turn into 8-inch pieces. This is my desperation pile, and then everything else that I couldn't use is still in there. So what we are going to do now is take my table saw and set it up to 8 inches on the fence and rip a bunch of these pieces down until we have enough pieces to make all of our drawer boxes. I am going to have to get full sheets of plywood for the bottoms of these, but other than that, we're in good business, so let's get to cutting. Alright, so we got really lucky. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 piles of wood, meaning we have our other 5 drawer box materials all set and ready to go. So I'm going to work my way 1 drawer box at a time, just grab one of these random piles and get it all formed up together. Like I said, I'll only be able to get the outer parts of the boxes built right now. I'll have to go buy sheets of plywood in order to do the bottoms. So I'm gonna get those measurements and we'll get to some cuts going, huh? Alright, as you can see over here, we have 4 drawer boxes made. I still have 1 more to go. Perfect. And I got my measurements for it right over here. Here are the measurements. We are gonna go through the process of what I've been doing to get those ready. And then we are gonna buy some we have the drawer slides. We're gonna put on some drawer slides, and we're gonna buy some plywood to make the bottoms of these drawers. And we're also gonna get the material we're gonna use to finish for the drawer faces and the outside of the carcass. So, let us begin. And just like that, we have a completed drawer box. It took me about 15 minutes, which is the length of that time lapse. I just decide whichever side I think looks worse and choose that as my front. So that's why I labeled this as front 6. I also labeled all these with the front and what section they are on the bed so that I don't get confused and put the wrong drawer box in the wrong slot. So now we got all of these completed. I'm going to take my slides, which are right over here, and I'm going to mount them both in each individual slot in which the drawers go, and then I'm going to mount the actual brackets onto the boxes themselves. So I'll probably catch up with you guys when I'm on the last one, because these next 4 are going to be a bit of a test run, so we shall see. So yeah, nothing to it but to do it. Alright, so I'm wrapping up the first drawer that I'm trying to get set up, and we're bleeding real good. So be careful, excuse me, on these guys, because they can cut you, I guess. I gotta clean this up. Alright, so I didn't record me putting in any of the drawer slides because it is the way I did it is the most inferior way possible. Like I said, I have Bob's video linked in the description. Just watch that. He put all the drawer slides and mounts in before he even assembled his carcass. That is the way smarter and easier way, so mad props to him. So now what we're gonna do, I have all my carcasses made. I am going to be making my bottoms. So all I'm gonna do is take each of the carcasses, and I took a Sharpie here and I drew my line for where I'm gonna make my cuts. So I'm gonna just use my circular saw and make these cuts, and we're gonna get these bottoms done, and then we'll get them assembled. So I'll see you at the assembly. All right, we got some progress done here. All 5 drawers are now installed, and let me tell you, I never want to make another single drawer in my life ever again. But I'm glad this is now done. Now, I wish I could leave them like this and this whole project was done, but I'm not gonna do that. We gotta make some drawer faces. So I actually have a really cool material I want to use. I think it's called like Tyvek board. I'll show you what it is. Let's go look. So this is the material we're gonna be using. I know it's definitely an unorthodox piece of material to use, but I think it could look really cool, really modern. What I plan to do is obviously cut all my strips that I need. These have to be 13 inches tall. My side pieces have to be 80 inches in total, and then the front piece has to be 77.5 inches in total. We got to get rid of obviously all our blue edges here. So we are going to do that next. We're going to trim it up, rip it down with our circular saw. So let's get to it. Also, we're going to be finishing this in golden oak, which I think would be pretty popular. So only one way to find out. Let's go. Alright, so we have one side of our drawer faces, we have our second side of our drawer faces, and we have the end part of our bed. The end part of our bed is going to be all set. We're at 13 inches already. We're at the 77.5 inches that we need for it to cover the entire edge of the bed. Now for these, you can see I left the blue tint on here. The reason why I'm doing that is because I cut these to 13 1/4. What I'm going to do is what Bob did, which is where he takes the side panels here for all of his faces and lines them up with the actual bed carcass themselves, and I'm going to mark each spot where I'm going to be making my cuts for each individual drawer face. So once I have all those individual drawer faces cut, I'm then going to take my table saw and trim these up to 13 inches and get rid of that blue edge there. So that is the game plan. Let's get these all marked up for cutting. So as you can see here, I went ahead and matched everything up with my carcass, marked all the lines where I'm going to be making cuts, and then I plan to, before I get going, I also labeled which cubby each of these go to, just to make sure that, I put the right face on the right drawer, because we don't want to mismatch. So I'm going to get these cut, and we're going to get them sanded, and we're going to start sealing them up so that we can get them installed. Alright, here is our finished product. Let's get these installed. Alright, as you can see, we now have both sides all in. So we're good there. We're good over here. I highly recommend how Bob did it, again, where you don't have the mattress on the bed. But it is what it is. So now what we need to do is our end cap piece that is in the basement. Okay, we had a senior moment because we forgot to hit record, Blue. Why didn't you remind me? I know you speak Spanish. Don't look at me like that. Anyways, what I ended up doing is actually just taking my 18 gauge brad nailer and just nailed it straight into our carcass instead of doing all the hassle of pulling out the drawers and trying to secure from the screws from the inside out. But it looks great. You can hardly see any of the holes just because of the pattern of the actual plywood. So it works out pretty good. So the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna clean up and I'm gonna get this staged up and kind of fill these drawers with all the stuff I wanna put in them. And then we'll get into some reveal shots. And then we'll be done. All right, here we are. It is the next day. We are getting this dresser. Blue, how you doing? Perfect. emptied. Look at this. We got 1 drawer empty. We got 2 drawers empty. We got 3 drawers empty. We got 4. Are you saying there's a 5th? Yes, sir. We have 5 drawers that are now stored underneath my bed. Some of these drawers were able to fit in one bin under my bed. Absolutely amazing. So now I gotta keep on going, emptying up these nightstands into here, get rid of these nightstands, and it's gonna be awesome. So I'm gonna finish that up, and let's get into the reveal. And that'll do it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys learned something. Don't forget to check out Bob's video in the link in the description so he can go in depth on some of those issues that I said that Bob did better. So you will avoid those issues. But leave a comment, leave a like on the video. It helps out the channel and the video a ton, and I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to have a great day or night. Don't forget to keep God number 1. God bless.